Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm glad you guys are having awesome conversations. I wanted to introduce our next speaker, Ahndrea from the Making a Difference Foundation. Awesome. Give her some noise. She's going to be taking us kind of inside the BIPOC food space, and she has some really incredible things to say. So I will give you this. You can click this on. Oh, you have one already? Perfect. Okay, go ahead. And there's a clicker here.
The clicker here.
And it's a bit slow, but I can do it if you want. Or you can do it.
I'm gonna try. It's hard for me to walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. There's a lot of me. I got talking down, but doing the two things, for whatever reason, just doesn't seem to work out for me. But I'm Ahndrea Blue, President and CEO of Making a Difference Foundation. Most people see.
Yeah, here, I got you. Just tell me when you want to put it.
Perfect. I'm just gonna. Can I just be like, Vanna? So, making a difference. Our mission is to make a difference in people's lives, one person at a time. We do that through several programs. We have a housing program. We do it also through food, and we also do it with gifts of encouragement. To date, we've infused $102 million over the last 10 years into our community. That all sounds great, but most people know us by Eloise's. So I always talk about making a difference. Like, who? It's like Eloise. Oh, you guys are the owner of that. We are the owners of Eloise's Cooking Pot Food Bank. Eloise's Cooking Bank, Cooking Pot Food Bank is located in East Tacoma, which is in a food desert. And it is the largest food bank in Pierce County. We have the largest food bank with the largest delivery system in Pierce County, and we're also in King County. We dabble in other counties around us, but those are the two main counties where we provide services. Eloise's, and this is the O slide, we actually serve 100,000 people per month. I'm not going to count October and September where all the shenanigans was happening with the government closure and SNAP, because that was crazy. But we're on average serve about 100,000 people per month. We have a brick and mortar, which is located in East Tacoma. We also have the BIPOC Farm HUB, which is also located in East Tacoma. We have a 27,000 square foot warehouse, which is also located in East Tacoma. We also have 3 mobile food banks, along with what we call Baby Eloise's, in 23 locations. I tell people our motto has been one very similar. We believe you should get food wherever you're located. You shouldn't have to take 2 buses and climb a hill just to get to Eloise's. So, has been since day 2, I should say. We are going to literally come to you. We can serve you faster if we come to you. So that's where we're at. Little thing about Eloise is I tell people I'm not a food bank person. I'm not from the food bank industry. I am actually a real lawyer. I also own an equity investment firm. Eloise has found me, literally. In 2009, I was minding my own business at one of our buildings there, and they had these 2 little 5-year-olds, which were incredibly cute, John and Lily, that lived in this particular building. They lived in 2 different units, but they appeared to me, and yes, I did make a judgment that they were not eating on a regular basis. I was on my way the next day to a different mission trip, and literally went to both their households and said, hey, can I leave you some money? I'm going to be gone for a while. Can I leave some money for food for both of you, or can I have people deliver to you? They said absolutely not, because I did not look like them, but they did not also know that I was our landlord, and I was not going to be arguing with them on this particular day. So instead of getting mad, I decided to find somebody that looked like them. I only had so many hours. Let me go find somebody that looks like them to deliver food to the entire building, in hopes that the parents then will think that it was acceptable to take this food. What I didn't know at the time, something about a food desert, something about a bad economy, and these people needed food. And I'm like, I get back 2 or 3 months later, and the person that I'd hired was like, you got a crisis over there at that building. And I think some people have figured out that it's their landlord, but I haven't said anything to people. So I went out there one day and literally just watched it play out. And not only at John and Lily's building, there were all those people on the street that just needed food. And so I'm like, what's going on? They were like, somebody's delivering food, but they're not delivering to the other buildings. Who is it? They said they think it's their landlord, but you're their landlord. What's going on? I was like, well, y'all tell me what's going on. Where's the local food bank? And I made the assumption, a couple of things for the area that I never, ever, ever even thought about. where's the grocery store and where's the food bank? Because that was my immediate solution. It's like, hey, calm down, calm down. We can fix this in 2 seconds. Where's the nearest grocery store and where's the food bank? And they're like, what food bank? I was like, ugh. It's like, oh, and the grocery store is now church. I was like, excuse me? I was like, you got a grocery store? Because I get JoJo's over at, we call them on the East Coast bodegas, but it's a liquor store. But it has the best JoJo's and fried chicken. If you ever go, I'm telling you, it's amazing. 24th and McKinley, just go to JJ's. He has the best chicken. And JoJo's like, no, you can get it over at just like that. It's not a grocery store. I was like, technically it's not, but you can get milk and other stuff there. And they're like, no. So then I looked and saw, I was like, no, that's not a Safeway anymore. It was a church. So of course I went over to the church and said, hey, y'all got a problem. People up here that's looking for the store, but apparently y'all bought the store, now it's a church. So it's only the best thing for you guys to do, because y'all are God's people, is to do a food bank. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys the money to do it for a year. And then y'all can get yourselves together, then just make sure John and Lily eat. Everybody else can eat, but make sure those 2 kids eat. And the pastor was just so kind. He said, look, that's so cute. What I am going to do for you, instead of us doing the food bank, you can keep giving out food over there on your property, and I'm going to send you some help. And I'm going to even put your name on the prayer list. And when that's like, and when it gets hard, know that I'm praying for you. But I want you to keep going. It's going to be difficult because people don't like food banks. And I was like, is he kidding? He is really tripping today. But I was like, okay. Because that's not even right. But okay, Terry, I'll play the game. Send me some people. He did send people like the next day, for real. So went back over to my street and said, hey, apparently, yeah, the church is a grocery store. Apparently, JJ's is not a real store. What's the problem? They convinced me that as long as I gave them a building and as long as I gave them food, they had already had their own structure, that they would open up a food bank. And all I had to do is keep doing what I was doing. Pay the bills, make sure the food arrived. And I'm like, okay, cool. One problem. They elected the drug dealer the head of the food bank. And I was like, I'm not even getting involved in this. Like, less. But hey, if Chopper wants to be in charge and y'all want Chopper to be in charge, maybe it won't work. He's already an entrepreneur, right? Made sense, kind of, sort of, right? Anywho, lasted for 2 weeks, became a huge mess, had to get involved. And that's literally how Eloise was birthed. Literally. So I tell people, I am not a food bank person. I'll never be a food bank person. I'm into feeding children. I believe that seniors and children should eat. The rest of y'all kind of on your own. You get some, great. But we would definitely wanted to focus on that. Within a month, we went from 50 people on that particular property to lives back in the alleyways to 150, 200, and then I had a city issue. Next slide. And so that was the birth for Eloise. I'm minding my business for 10 years, thinking they're going to be done with this food bank thing for a year once the economy got better, and it never got better because we still, today, are in an area that's a food desert. I have 9 studies to prove that my location is in a food desert, but hopefully the next 100 days that will end with our finished construction on the grocery store, because we're gifting the community a grocery store so that we can get off the food desert list. 10 years later, waiting for people say they don't need this food bank anymore. Of course, no one has come and said, hey, we're no longer doing it. Eloise is ran by the people. We've kept it that way. They tell us what we want to eat. They eat. We did, literally. We have 90 days to bring it forward, or I write an excuse to the team, the community team, on why they're not getting what they're getting and what the alternatives are going to be. We're in the heart of COVID. And what happens? I don't know if this happened to everybody else. You went from serving how many people to double, triple within a day and outside on the street. And at this time, we literally had 3 employees, and all the rest of it was ran by community and the volunteers. And literally within a week, we went from 3 employees to 60 employees. It was crazy, beyond crazy. I do not miss COVID. But in that time, the committee was like, that's your problem now, not ours, because the food bank is still ran by us, even in the heart of COVID. We're looking for this particular food. And, food got real strange during that time, literally, in the heart of COVID. So one day, someone decided to make oxtails, $90 a pound. The committee was like, so sad for you. We still need our oxtails. We still need our pig parts. Go find them. Maybe some farmer have them. And I'm from the inner city. I do not talk to my food. I need my food at the Safeway in the freezer section. I had no idea, did not care where this food was coming from. That's where I'm going to go get my chicken. Like, look, seriously, I don't even want to meet the chicken. And so they were like, well, no. You need to go find the ox and get the tail. That's what you need to do. And I'm like, they got to be kidding me. So I am Googling farmers looking for ox, and I met an amazing guy who had cows, and I'm like, looking for oxtails. That's all I need is the tails. And he's like, how long have you been looking? I'm like, a week. He's like, I'm gonna tell you something, ma'am. They come from a cow. I'm like, no one said that. Oh, really? A cow? And he's like, yeah, but I have this brilliant, he had this great idea. He was gonna help me out. Instead of me just buying the cow tail, he thought it would be super cool if I bought the entire cow and gave it to the people at the food bank. And I'm like, really? So how are we going to do this? And he's like, oh, I got a great plan. We can grind the whole cow, but I think it would be amazing if you gave them every prime piece. Now, I'm inner city, right? I'm not in, like, how does it work? So he breaks out the picture of the cow and shows me all the cuts. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, yeah, and you can do this, you can do that. And then he was great at marketing. Like, by the time I left there, he had the little cows with a little outfit on in the picture that said Eloise's. And then he threw in a pig that said Eloise's. And then he threw in a chicken that said Eloise. And then I'm like, I'm in. This is going to be so cool. He goes, and then you come visit your animals. You pay for them, and we will raise them and take them to the butcher, and then they'll arrive at Eloise's. And I'm like, this is going to be so cool. So next slide. Storm. I'm excited. You want to go next one? We now have belly, so that's what I named the program. Burn the full belly. That's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna take these animals, bring them to the food. It's gonna be amazing because butchered meat. Have anybody had butchered meat before? Fresh butchered meat? Is there a difference between butcher and frozen?
Oh my God.
It is. Like, it's like seriously. If you haven't had a butchered piece of meat, they're playing with you. There's no comparison to fresh chorizo. There is no comparison to a fresh deboned steak. It's like butter. It is a difference. It's a huge difference. But I'm looking for the oxtails, right? So here we are. Now, I already told you the store that was Safeway is now a church. But the church is now trying to do the right thing. So they're doing a farmer's market. And I'm like, hey, let's enter. Our place is only 100 feet from it. So I'm all about entrepreneurism. I go over and it's like, hey, what y'all selling? Because whatever you're selling is what I'm not going to bring into the food bank because we're going to be in competition. I'm giving my stuff away for free and you're not. Tell me, give me a list, and we will not provide those things at the food bank, and we'll enter into a partnership with you. Whatever you have left at the end of the day, we'll buy it better than wholesale. That way it's a win-win situation. So, Storm, looking for these oxtails, discovering all these butcher, amazing. We now have fresh meat product, pigs. The food bank people know it better than me. Lambs, halal meat, all fresh at our food bank. They have it for the last 3 years for them, and they can get them in 1 to 2 ounces of any product that they want, all fresh. It's hard to get them to take frozen. I can only have frozen as a second choice when we're waiting for our lambs because it takes like 10 months and all of that coming. So in that, we've birthed this farm to food valley around the animals. And now we're going to add people who are doing produce and herbs. They're down there at their farmer's market and their building gets sold. Now they have 20-something farmers that have all this farm work and no place to go. We saw it as an amazing opportunity. It's like, where did they go? Where are you selling your products? And they didn't have a place to sell their products. So what we decided to do was like, hey, grow for us. We'll give you the seed money. We'll buy your product. Our staff will come glean our own product. We'll glean the other product that you can sell to other people also, but we'll create a win-win. All we ask is that we're never going to pay retail. We're going to pay better than wholesale. And that no matter how big you get, we still get to be a customer. We don't want you to blow up and then, the food bank is kicked out. And so the other beautiful thing about it, we were able to have them grow culturally appropriate food because while, some people don't want the pig head, we had a whole clientele was like, I can't get the skin, I can't get the head. Can we make arrangements to get the head? That means you can't shoot the pig in the head to get the head. You have to do all these other things, right? And we're like, fine, we will get you all this part. We'll grow what you guys want us to grow. So every 90 days or every season, they give us a list of what it is that they want to grow. And that's the things in which our partners have to grow for them. And that instead of food going to waste, we're gleaning from them, but they can't donate anything to us. They have to continue to sell it. And our agreement is that we still will take the food and package it in your logo and everything else, take what's ours and give you back the rest to go sell to whoever else you want to in the market. Next slide. What we found was that in this, there was a significant challenges to the process. Farming was no longer art. People decided they didn't want to farm because they didn't know how to get their stuff to market. But we knew they didn't even have competition. They were trying to sell their food to everybody in the world. It's like, you don't need to sell it to everybody in the world. You need to sell it to a special group of people that can see the value in that food. And that's it. And so literally they were better growers than Charlie's. They were Cascade's not here, right? They were better growers than Cascade and Mosby. They were better. Schooners, they were much better. They're great too, but most of these people were immigrants and they had brought their growth talents from their countries to here, and they were doing better than organic, pure. I was like, wow. I mean, like the cows were huge. Their product was just superb, and they just didn't know that it was superb. And so they didn't have a lot of resources. They didn't know how to get it to market. They literally wasn't even breaking even. I told them they were not for profits as far as I'm concerned because they were all in the negative. They were not making money when we start working with them. And literally, a lot of them were failing. It was like, I got to go take another job. My microgreen girl failed her first crop, and she was like, I'm out. I'm going to go work over here at Starbucks. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Let's go to the next crop. So next slide. So they had those challenges. So these are actually some of our farmers. So we decided to make a win-win. Whenever I do business with someone, I tell people there's always someone who has the advantage. And in this case, we have the advantage because we have the funds and we have the technical skills and everything to make them profitable. We knew they had a great product, but we knew that they had some challenges getting it to the market. Next slide. So what we decided to do is like, okay, this is what your relationship is going to be with us. If you want to do business with us, you have to be profitable or we will not do business with you. That's $1 net on the other side. Or we cannot be in relationship because it creates an unequal relationship. So all of them were not profitable. Okay, so we're going to give you a year to get profitable. We're not going to only say it, we're going to help you get there. Every one of our partners had the capacity to do $1 million in sales and did not believe they had the capacity to do $1 million in sales. So I told you I was a lawyer. I own an equity investment firm. I literally brought in the coach that helped me with my company when I lost it as my gift to them. He then helped them with a revenue forecast and some basic skill sets to say, hey, this is how your business can get to $1 million, and we're going to walk with you for the first year to make sure that this happened. So we gave them training. We set up their books. We gave them our accountants. We gave them our marketing people to make sure that their companies were able to go. And literally, next slide, that's what we offer them. Also, you had to actually sit in all the trainings. You could not do them virtual. You have to show up. We made sure that when we did those trainings, it was always in the low season. Because convincing people that they're not going to miss something in a growth season, you can tell them 10 times over. They're like, nope, I still got to go, right? And they're just not mentally there. But we did it in a season where it's like, no, you ain't got nothing to do. Your thing's already put to bed. You have to sit here and you have to be committed because it's your company. And the people that we brought in, none of them could do their work. They have to do their own work. in that, so we provided them technical assistance. Next slide. And this is, I think, cohort number 3. There's actually 5 cohorts. And literally, we were able to give them $680,000 in equipment with the last cohort. We were able to help 19 businesses, and then we gave out $122,000 in scholarships because people had other things that was happening. Our next step with this group, which is really, really cool, next slide, is this, the BIPOC Farmer Hub. We have another building located across the street from where they were before that we purchased that we're making into a hub for them. In this hub, they will have a permanent place where they're able to sell their high-end products to a community that's currently being gentrified. The community is about 75% gentrified at this point. It's right there in East Tacoma, right where you drop down and you catch the train over to Seattle. So it has changed quite a bit. So it's this building here. Will be their BIPOC Farmer Hub. On the first floor, it will be an open marketplace as if you're in a farmer's market. On the back side of the building, along on the second floor, would be their offices and where they're able to actually process their product. On the third floor would be their offices. The BIPOC Farmer Hub to be up in 2027 for them. Right now, they're temporarily located at our property on Portland Avenue on Yahweh, with Yahweh, but that's what we're hoping for them. In there, they're also, we did keep the coaches and the consultants because it worked really well to continue to work with them, and they will continue to work with them. These are the people we're in partnership with. It hasn't been a perfect, I tell you, it hasn't been perfect. It's been a lot of work and a lot of pivoting. But one thing that we know and one thing that we've learned is they are good. I can't get the people at the food bank. Let one of my grower items not be available at that food bank. I have to do a whole memo to these people on, look, if a crop fails, I have to tell them the crop failed and why so-and-so product is not there. The clients literally have developed an amazing palate that they can taste the difference between Charlie's greens and Joe's greens. And let Joe's not be there, and that explanation on why Charlie's is in there and what has happened to Joe's, it's a problem. They're like, look, where's the explanation? What happened? Did it fail? Do we need to go clean our own stuff? I mean, literally, I'm never looking for a volunteer to, never, ever looking for a volunteer to go clean, because the client's like, we're going to go get our stuff. They know when it comes in. They know how it comes in. They know each vendor's in their products, which is amazing. And they're so appreciative because, like me, they had never had fresh grown or fresh product either. And there's truly a huge difference in the taste of it. And so people's like, if you ever been to Eloise, the line is all the way in the community and people crack up. I'm just like, seriously, why is that line way down there? It's like, what day is it? Tell me which day it is. And I can tell you why it's where it's at. And literally, I said it's popular because it is popular, but it's possible because it's ran by the people. It's popular because they already ordered the food. They know exactly when the food's coming in. They know they've ordered it, and they're just waiting in line to pick it up. Our motto at our food bank is that whatever product in which we're serving is available to anybody who's at any one of our locations. And we don't run out because we never put something out that's not enough for the first person who still shows up at 6 o'clock and put the rock people down there as if, like, seriously, we're still going to have it. Or the last person that walks in the door, barely running down the street to get in, same products. Everybody has the same products are always available. So if I have greens and I have Joe's greens, there's enough Joe's greens for everybody to take their fair share of Joe's greens. There's no risk if you don't get there first or you didn't know that it was Joe's day. If Joe doesn't have greens, we do use other people. I do use Charlie some days if a crop fell. That is my backup, or go to Caruso or go to Mosby if something fails, so that it's continually is available. And then the clients have their choice. They can choose to eat Joe's, or if Joe's is not there, they choose Mosby or choose somebody, but we still make it available. If I can't get it fresh, they then permit me to have it frozen. If I can't get it frozen, I'm then permitted to bring in a canned product. But I have to exhaust the other means first and then put them on notice that what has happened. So next slide. That's me. Next slide. And this is summer for now. Literally, see the little Eloise lamb? We ate that. Like, I didn't, but it's the sad thing. You see these things, I'm like, oh my God, I know your face. Like, oh my God. I had them take the little names off because I thought that was a little normal. It's like, stop dressing those things up with our names on it, please. But these are all products that ended up at our food bank. Some are our growers. Like I said, they girls have amazing, they're so gifted and so talented. They don't even have competition. They really don't. Their food is that great. So that's it. Do you have any questions? Perfect storm. It worked out well for the people over at Eloise. I tell people why COVID was hard. A lot of beautiful things came out of it, and this is one of the most beautiful things that have came out of it for us, is that we're able to provide people with some amazing product from day to day. We've become people's primary food source, not their secondary food source, which I just always kind of honored that they trust us on that level that much to be able to provide them the products in which they normally would eat, not the products that Ahndrea deemed they should be eating. I tell people I'm not the healthiest food bank because we do bring in pizza and candy and all that because that's on the list. But we are the no judgment, no questions asked. If I don't got to report it, I'm not going to talk to you about it. And that's just our motto for our food bank. Okay. Any questions? Oh,
What are the specific challenges for BIPOC farmers as opposed to commercial or maybe white-owned farms in the area?
property.
Property.
Land property. And we have a solution to that. We're actually working on ownership. One of the things with my next cohort is we want them 100% of them to own the property in which they're farming on. That is a huge issue, or to at least team up. Most people do not own the property that they're on. Yes, ma'am?
For you guys, I was saying this is remarkable. For you guys, I'm from Skagit County, and we have Skagit Gleaners. We run a very similar BIPOC collaborative model, but then we rely on Viva Farms, who then does the incubation program to train these farmers, who then rely on Puget Sound Food Hub, who then serve as a hub to get the farm food to market. So there's 3 different entities working where you guys do it as one whole entity. Completely remarkable, and I wish that every county did it like this, because oftentimes these organizations work in silos. Then my question to you is, when it came to that point of being able to provide funding capacity for some of the small scale farmers, how did that happen? Did you become like a contractor of WSDA to do pass through funding? I mean, you operate as your own nonprofit, so there's stipulations with the way that you get funding of not being allowed to do that. So I don't know, like, how did that happen? I'm curious about that process.
So for the first 3 cohorts, we did them as a pilot on our own. But Eloise is owned by Making a Difference Foundation, right? And any program in which our board decide to take on, we agree that we're gonna supply the funds to that program for at least 5 years. We're not gonna take on any partners. We're not gonna be doing anything around that until we shore up the program. Remember, we fell into this. Literally, it was a situation that they happened. We needed, literally, when I say about oxtails, had no one been chasing down oxtail, we probably wouldn't have this program. And so we literally said, hey, let's try this as a quick cohort, because my thing was, I know I can make them profitable. I know we can. They just don't know they can. So can we do it? And so once we knew with the first cohort that it worked and it worked well, we then took on a second one. Last year, we were fortunate enough to work with Commerce, who literally had a grant with the CRP funding for communities of color. And so I pitched it to them and said, hey, we don't want to work with, no offense, all type of businesses. I want to work only with this small group of farmers. And this is what I need for them. Would they be interested? And they said, yay. It worked. And so we then brought in that cohort. It was cohort number 5. We brought them in. And that group was very different than the other group. The other groups were, if they needed QuickBooks, we pay for a year of it. And so with this group, it was very, very different. Whereas literally we had more people than we had funding, and had to say, hey, look, if you're not able to commit and sign blood, this is what we want. This is what we need. Plus, we're getting ready to pick the people who are going, because everybody can't go into the BIPOC Farmer Hub. We're getting ready to solidify that group. This is the type of commitment we need. If you commit to us, we'll give you up to $50,000, and you can't drop out. And we held the money to the end. We paid for everything ourselves and held the rest of it to the end. And you got to the end, it's like, hey, worked out well. We didn't have one person drop out. We're still in relationship with them today. There's funding, but you can't be all things to all people. And that's the hard thing about this, because people get upset when literally I say, no, I am only looking for these people. That's it. And it's BIPOC, but we have women and we have non-BIPOC people in it. We're looking for people who can provide a certain thing to this particular community and willing to make the long-term commitment. It's not the program for everybody. It's just really not. And we just have to have people make the decision up front. And that's how we were able to do it. That's the building we own already. We own the majority of the buildings there. We've owned it for years. And for us, when they lost their space, it was the right thing to do. Plus, we have the no-cost market, which is 100 feet this way. And they're going to grow products for it. But I'm never going to compete with them because the area is being gentrified. So they have a market already there for them that are not going to want to go into the no-cost market, no matter how big I write no-cost market up there, right? Some people are just not going to use it. Any other questions? Kinda?
I will also be sending out the recordings from all of these things. And so if you guys have any questions, we'll make sure they get where they go if you think of something later too. So yeah, give it up.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got a couple of minutes till the next one. Has she? Oh, hi, there you are. Okay. Hey, look, we're on time. Thank you for coming. So we're gonna set up for the next workshop in like, what time is it? It starts around 2, but like we have like maybe 15 minutes before we get it started. So y'all hang in, get some food, coffee, made new coffee. So.
No, thank you.